Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. For those who are new, my name is Linda and I'm a product designer from Toronto. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the demand for UX designers is hot right now, like steaming hot. And from what I hear and see, it's a really good time to get into UX design or switch to a new UX design job because we kind of have the upper hand if your work is good. But the one thing I've noticed that people tend to miss out on when they're applying for jobs is target networking right before they actually apply. So for today's video, I'm gonna dive a bit deeper into what this means, how to do it, and just how it's been a game changer for me, and hopefully it'll be helpful for you guys too. Now, what do I mean by target networking? Isn't the same thing as networking in general? Not really. I have kind of a different definition for it, which is why I am making this video. And for me personally, what I mean by target, it means that you are specifically looking for a person or different people who you may relate to on a deeper connection, whether it's similar interests, hobbies, goals, whether it's work related or not. That's what I mean by kind of like digging deeper into the person and researching. It may sound a bit creepy and stalkerish, but it only gets creepy if you're doing it in a way out of ill intention or obviously other weird reasons. But if you're on their LinkedIn and they have different profiles, whether it's Instagram, their portfolio, those are free for you to kind of go in and look into and research about the person. So that is what I mean by like target networking. And I see this a bit different than regular networking because with regular networking, you are just talking to people, making connections, whoever comes your way, whether it's work related or not. And that's why I feel like with those, they're not as genuine connections, or they're more very surface level connections where it might be a one-off conversation or might just feel very transactional. So let's talk about why target networking is so important before applying for jobs. The simple answer to this is that there's just a better chance of landing the interviews for the companies that you want. And there are many benefits to this. The first one being that you waste less time job hunting. So I don't know if you guys seen this on LinkedIn or not, but for me, I've seen quite a bit of people who post around their job hunting process and experience where they're applying to like 200 plus companies and then they get 10 rejections or just no callbacks in general. And to me, it's kind of a red flag that this person is able to apply to that many jobs in such a short time frame or like in a couple months. And that's because they're probably just applying mindlessly and just going on career sites and then just applying with the regular job application and just not doing anything else. And you know, that approach might work for some people, but for the majority, it's hard to get in that way. It's hard to really sell yourself and show what you can do through just one small application. And that is why if you're networking or target networking, you can speak to people beforehand, before applying to these jobs. You just get a better sense of, you know, if you should be putting in the effort and just making those connections beforehand. That way you are wasting less time and being more smart about the time that you are investing in. The second benefit is that you create connections with people who you want to connect with. So like I mentioned before, when you start doing research with a person and get to really understand who they are with, you know, what is provided online, you have more to talk about, more things that you guys might see interest in and see eye to eye. It just makes those genuine connections that you might not have done if you didn't really do your research in the first place. And through that too, making those genuine connections, it usually goes beyond just one call and you can prolong that relationship for just forever, and it'll just be beneficial for both ends. The third benefit is that you become more memorable, and I think this comes very natural to us humans because we tend to remember things that hold interest to us, and if you have created that genuine relationship, that connection in the first place, it's very likely that both of you will want to continue that relationship for the long run. And the fourth benefit is that it's an easy referral, which is kind of the whole point of target networking. And it's because if you vibe well with the person, you can just talk to them very easily. Who would not want to refer you? Because at the end of the day, that other person, they want to work with people that they get along with. They want to have coworkers who are cool, same interests, and that just gives them all the reason to refer you. It sometimes means that you don't even have to go through the job application, and you might go just straight into the screening call or just the interview process in general, which can be really hard to do with just straight applying through a website. So like I mentioned in the beginning, I'm gonna show you guys how to actually do this and how I've done it in the past that has worked for me to actually talk to the right people. All right, so I'm gonna give you a step-by-step of what exactly I do on LinkedIn to target, network, and talk to the right people. So what I'll do is go to jobs up here. Once that loads, I'm gonna search by title. So for me, I'm gonna do product designer. You can also write UX designer here as well. And then state the city that you wanna work in. For me personally, I will search for remote because that's what I want. And then it'll show you the results. Before I even start looking around, what I'll do is filter even more by date posted. I want to see what has posted in the past week or 24 hours. So I'm going to do the past week for now because I want to see things where people have not applied too much for. Just because when it gets a bit longer, that means there is an increase of applicants on that job posting, which I don't really want and compete for. Again, experience level, so I'm a associate to mid to senior level, so I'm gonna do both because it doesn't hurt to apply for things that are a bit out of your skill level. Doesn't hurt, sometimes you're able to get it, sometimes you're not, so might as well try. And then what else I'll do is that I'll apply company. If you have a certain company, you can filter that here, but I will not do that because the whole point of this is to find people and jobs that I might have interest in. You can also do job type. I mean, it doesn't really matter. And then you can see all the different filters here as well. So I'm gonna start from there and then I'm gonna start browsing through these different companies. So what I like to do is skim through what companies are hiring. Sometimes I see companies that I recognize, I'll look into those. Sometimes I don't, and they're smaller startups. But what I'll do for the sake of this video is go into, let's say, Square, because I have connections that work here. So maybe I can also talk to people that I used to work with or know and target network that way. So then what I'll do is read through the job description, go through that, and let's just say I was interested in this job. Instead of going to apply here right onto LinkedIn, what I'll actually do is go into Square, open a new tab of the actual company. Then what I'll do is go under people. And it says there's 6,400 employees, which is a lot to go through. What I'll do here is search by product designer, and that'll bring up some results. Look at that. It went all the way down to 130 employees. And then what I'll do is go through the designers who work there. So there's a couple people I have shared connections with. There's maybe some people that I know. This is just more of an example, so I'm just pulling shit out of my ass. But let's just say I knew some of these people. If I did, I would kind of open a new link of these different people. So then I'll kind of vet through each one. I'm gonna target who I wanna talk to see who might have similar interests and kind of, be able to create that genuine connection. Because at the end of the day, we all want genuine connections and be able to find people that we can become friends with as well. I have 3 people that I'm kind of interested into looking deeper into and do my research. I'm gonna go through this person's feature. Do they have anything that they posted? Where did they work before? Is there any similarities or relative information here that I can kind of connect to and create talking points out of? If I don't, then I'll move on to the next person. She doesn't really have much in terms of a portfolio link or other public social media links that I could look at. And then I'll kind of go on and on until I can find a bit more information on people where I can, again, find similarities with myself. So I'm not just reaching out for nothing or randomly. And let's just say, example, so Nora here, funny thing is, she used to work at the company that I previously worked at, so known, and she was also a UX UI designer. I did not work with her while I was there. I believe she left before I came on board, but this is kind of a talking point that I could bring up or some type of similarities, talk about experiences working there, so on. So that's one thing. So then what I'll do here is I'll press connect, but then before I send, I will add a note. I will always add a note here because you need to just give some context, and I'm assuming if I'm reaching out and trying to connect, there's other people who are doing the same thing. So the best you can do is add a personalized note where it'll kind of get her attention and like will want to actually connect with me. So within here, I'll say like, hi Nora, my name is Linda and I'm currently a product designer in Toronto, blah, 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 blah. And because you only have 300 characters, you have to be very sweet, short, and concise here and get to the point. And what I'll usually talk about is, I see that you worked at Known, and I love to kind of like chat around your experience there and how that has transferred to you working at Square, and you know what I mean? You want to just be able to connect the dots, be able to say something that is intriguing and I guess kind of a bait for her to actually want to talk to me as well. I want to talk to her, but it doesn't mean that she'll want to talk to me unless there's something that you can get out of the conversation as well. Because at the end of the day, when you're meeting new people, you still want to be able to bring benefit to the conversations. So then I'll actually send this out and then just kind of wait for her response. So that's what I like to do on LinkedIn. I'll just usually wait it out, but I'll do this for multiple different job applications. I don't just do it for one job that I saw. I'll do it for maybe like Ceridian, Lighthouse Labs, and I'll do that for a lot of different companies and just do the exact same thing that I just showed you. Now, the second place that you can go to do some more target networking is Twitter. Twitter I love because the tech scene, just tech Twitter in general and just the design part of it is great. Everyone's super active, we're nice and inclusive when it comes to just like teaching people, talking to people, helping each other out. I think this is a really great place to also look for jobs and connect with people online. The only way Twitter can really be beneficial for you if you have some sort of presence, you are active yourself, because the last thing you'll want is someone to think you're kind of sketch because you don't really tweet or you don't really have any followers, or you know what I'm saying? You need to have some type of online presence when it comes to Twitter. That way, when you do reach out to people, they don't think you're just like spam or a bot or just a creep in general. So I would build that up first, and then you can start kind of like reaching out. So once you've gotten to this point, here's my Twitter, little shameless plug. If you want to go follow me, you can do that. So what I like to do when it comes to target networking before applying to jobs again is I'll do the search. So under search, what I'll do is look for maybe like product designer job, and it'll kind of come up with things that maybe people are posting, like look at here, we're hiring staff product designers at Owner. This is a great example of people just asking the community on Twitter for recommendations of who to hire. So you can also just look this way, because sometimes they don't actually post it as a job listing on like LinkedIn or even the career. They might just go on Twitter and ask, because a lot of people I know have actually gotten jobs through Twitter. So there's an example there. I'll just keep on going to see if there's more job postings. And I'm just gonna keep going. Again, look at here. I am hiring for product and marketing. So here, UX UI designer, perfect. Another example here where you can probably look into, reach out directly to this person, especially if they're kind of like, DM me for more information. That's kind of your way of, you know, talking to them. And then before even talking to them, maybe do some more research around who they are, some interests or similarities that you can actually talk about in your conversation that make you more an interesting person and kind of be able to vibe off of the other person a bit better. It's very easy to do, and I think when it comes to reaching out this way, people respond a lot faster. I think with Twitter, everyone's just a lot more responsive and they are expecting you to reach out. That's another thing. They are open to actually talking to people who are interested. So that's another great way to go about it. Now, if there's one thing you learned from this video, I hope it's that you should always talk to someone before applying to a job. Whether it's learning that it's a good fit for you or not, it'll save you so much time, effort, and just so much more beneficial in the long run. Because let me tell you, ever since I started this target networking, I have always been able to get on a screening call at least, and that's one step closer in landing a job. So yeah, it has been definitely life-changing for me, and I hope it's somewhat life-changing for you. But if you're someone who's interested in more of the UX interview process, then you guys can check out this video over here, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!